Cryptozoologists spend most of their time researching legendary beasts in hopes of proving their existence. The mysterious creatures that capture the imaginations of true believers and skeptics alike vary greatly in terms of how much evidence is available, and to the degree that their particular taxonomy seems plausible. From the much-debated Sasquatch to everyone's favorite lake monster Nessie, these mysterious beings are bizarre and elusive. Perhaps these qualities only serve to interest us all the more. Today, on Scream to Screen, we search for the truth behind the Chupacabra, the elusive creature that is often credited with devouring goats, livestock, and humans alike. Before we plunge into the darkness, make sure you subscribe to The Graveyard Shift and let us know in the comments which true-life horror stories you'd like for us to cover in the future. It may come as a surprise that the Chupacabra, or goat sucker in English, hasn't been on the scene for very long. The first reported Chupacabra attack having been reported in March of 1995, this initial attack took place on a Puerto Rican ranch and resulted in the loss of 8 sheep. The bodies of the sheep each completely drained of blood through 3 small puncture wounds to their chest. Initially chalked up to a freak occurrence, briefly blamed on satanic cultists, this was quickly disproven. And more evidence of the existence of the then only whispered rumors of a creature would arise. Later, in August of the same year, Madeline Tolentino came forward as the first documented eyewitness to the unnamed creature, this time in the Puerto Rican town of Canóvanas. There too was a grisly discovery of blood-drained livestock and pets, this time numbering over 150. Further, Tolentino was able to describe the creature that had attacked the animals quite clearly. These early descriptions would later be used in an effort to debunk the veracity of Tolentino's claims. Meanwhile, fellow Puerto Rican national Silverio Perez, a comedian and entrepreneur by trade, is credited with coining the term chupacabras not long after these first incidents began to make headlines. The name chupacabra stuck and was only made stronger by the preponderance of reports of the creature as they poured in. The chupacabra problem had gone international. Countries including Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Dominican Republic, El Salvador, Honduras, Mexico, Nicaragua, Panama, Peru, and the United States all reported similar loss of livestock in the year that followed. The Chupacabra was here, and it was apparently very hungry. But what exactly was this creature? More importantly, did it actually exist? American writer and noted skeptic Benjamin Radford took an immediate interest in the stories of the Chupacabra that seemed to be booming in the mid-90s and found himself compelled to investigate the reports. After spending 5 years working on his 2011 book Tracking the Chupacabra, Radford offered an alternative explanation for the cryptid. Radford asserted that the original reports of the goat sucker from Madeline Tolentino was a delusion influenced by Hollywood. Radford came to the conclusion that the Chupacabra was in fact Syl, the man-eating alien antagonist from the 1995 horror sci-fi film Species. The creature initially described by Tolentino was indeed quite similar to the alien of the film. Radford revealed that Tolentino believed that the creatures and events she saw in Species were happening in reality in Puerto Rico at the time. Radford's claims about Tolentino's beliefs couldn't be verified, but he insists that this is cause enough to refute the earliest sightings of the creature, and that this throws a serious element of doubt into the claims that would follow. Continuing his expose, Radford claims that the seeming blood loss of the livestock was not due to being bled dry. He claims that the apparent lack of fluids in the animals was a result of necropsy. To bolster his argument, Radford contracted a veterinarian to examine the corpses of over 300 Chupacabra victims. The vet returned with findings that the animals had not been drained, and claimed that their dry state was the result of decomposition and environmental issues. Radford is joined in the skepticism by University of Michigan biologist Barry O'Connor. O'Connor has concluded that the Chupacabra sightings in the States are uniformly coyotes infected with the parasite Sarcops gabbei, a horrific mite that can result in massive loss of fur, thickened skin, and foul odors. O'Connor goes on to say that these stricken coyotes might be driven to attack and consume domesticated animals as a result of desperation. their condition causing the infected coyotes to seek easier prey. O'Connor limits his determination to the states, however, and has made no such claims about the Chupacabra activity reported in other nations. Chupacabra descriptions have changed very little since they were first identified in 1995, and while these descriptions may fit the narrative of Radford's species theory or O'Connor's sickly coyote theory, if reports are to be believed, they may not in fact fit into either of those categories. Chupacabra is most often described as vaguely reptilian, hairless, and sometimes is reported to be covered with coarse scales. The size of the cryptid typically ranges from 3 to 4 feet in length, and while it can ambulate as a quadruped, alarmingly it has also been seen on 2 feet. In this upright position, the Chupacabra is said to resemble a kangaroo, a creature that is certainly not native to the areas of the world that have experienced the greatest number of sightings. Other noteworthy and fairly consistent physical traits often mentioned by those who have encountered the creature only further reinforce the carnivorous and predatory nature of this mysterious animal. Long, wicked claws, similar to a velociraptor, and a mouth full of thin, razor-sharp fangs, no doubt used to puncture the arteries of prey to gain access to the blood that they seem to subsist on. Additionally, the Chupacabra is often reported to have a pronounced and spike-laden spinal ridge. In some cases, large leathery bat wings are reported to be seen extending from the shoulder areas of the breasts, but reporting of flying chupacabras are few. If all this isn't enough to get your heart racing, the Chupacabra also features pronounced eye sockets and ruby-red pupils. Truly nightmare fuel, and in light of what they have reported done to livestock, one can only wonder what these predators would do to an unlucky traveler. Luckily, we have multiple films to help us imagine such a thing. Still pretty new to the cryptid scene, Chupacabra hasn't quite enjoyed the level of examination and representation on TV and film as some of its contemporaries, but the monster has already been featured in a number of programs and films. Perhaps the first mention here should be Guns of El Chupacabra in 1997, a film that has been described as Fellini meets the Coen brothers. This may be the first mention of Chupacabra in film, and while its presentation of the Chupacabra as an alien unleashed by the maniac cop himself, Robert Z'Dar, we suspect that no one will complain too much. A slightly more model representation is available in the sci-fi original Chupacabra: Dark Seas, renamed Chupacabra Terror for its DVD release. The story centers on a cryptozoologist who has managed to trap a chupacabra on a remote Caribbean island. While smuggling the creature off the mainland, it managed to break free and terrorize those aboard. There is a veritable onslaught of other Chupacabra-inspired low-budget horror films available. Films such as Blood of the Chupacabras, The Night of the Chupacabras, Rise of the Chupacabras, The Legend of the Chupacabras, and Chupacabra vs. the Alamo. Chupacabra is even featured in a direct-to-video Scooby-Doo film in Scooby-Doo and the Monster of Mexico. Yes, the monster is revealed to perhaps not be what it seems to be by the investigative team, but this cartoon remains a pretty strong representation of the creature. As it turns out, this wasn't the first time the goatsucker would be on screen in a children's cartoon. Jackie Chan Adventures beat Scooby-Doo to the punch by 2 years with the 2001 episode entitled The Curse of El Chupacabra. In this iteration, Jackie Chan finds himself in Mexico, where he is delivered a scratch by El Chupacabra himself, resulting in Chan facing a nightly transformation into the beast. While most of these films take great liberties with the legendary creature, it is early yet for the Chupacabra in Hollywood, and clearly there is an interest. While we may remain in waiting for the definitive film about the Latin American mystery, we certainly have plenty to watch in the meantime. With legends of the Chupacabra having dealt some fairly serious blows by skeptics, and with media seemingly in on the joke, one might expect that sightings and stories of the Chupacabra would decrease and fade away. For many, the cryptid remains very real, and while it's elusive, believers feel that definitive proof will present itself soon. Chupacabra has gone international. In October and December 2018, there came many reports of suspected Chupacabra activity in Manipur, India. As with reports from the West, Evidence in India include domesticated animals and poultry discovered drained of blood in a manner similar to previously reported Chupacabra attacks in Latin America and the southern states. Even more disturbing, and perhaps the evidence cryptozoologists have been waiting for, several people reported that they had actually seen these chupacabras. Again, forensic experts determined that these animals had in fact fallen victim to mange-ridden street dogs, desperate for sustenance. But those who witnessed the predators with their own eyes refute that dismissal. With the proliferation of cameras, CCTV, field cam technology, and cell phones, cryptozoologists may have hope yet of discovering a smoking gun with regard to the chupacabra. Many hold on to hope that compelling footage will be shot of the creatures and prove with certainty that the reports of its existence are grounded and that we have simply moved into the territory of a previously undiscovered species. In many of the areas in which the sightings have occurred, those maintaining flocks of animals have had to edge further into formerly wild areas, often to the detriment of the natural environment. Could human sprawl have disrupted these creatures and lured them out of secrecy with easy access to food sources? Many believe this is exactly what's going on, as has been stated to be the case of the Pacific Northwest sightings of Bigfoot, and the increased visibility activity of deep-sea monsters surfacing to hunt as a result of the depleted shoals of fish that were once abundant prior to the modern fish harvesting practices. Perhaps jumping the gun or caught in the web of confirmation bias, a number of potential chupacabra have been caught on video, trapped live, or found deceased in the wild. Thus far, each of these claims have either been disproven or deemed insubstantial evidence as to the existence of the cryptids to the mainstream scientific community. Skeptical individuals may be given pause to understand that many of our acknowledged and revered animals today were once cryptids themselves. The platypus, the narwhal, the giant squid, the rhino, and of course, even the mighty mountain gorilla, a creature believed to be a myth right up until 1847, well after the invention of the camera. Whether a true being waiting for verification and validation, or a nightmarish expression of now global paranoia, the chupacabra seems to be here to stay. With luck, we may soon determine if it has a place in our textbooks, or if its story will remain the stuff of legend. Do you believe in the chupacabra? Or is it just a sick animal in search of food? Could this simply be a modern myth born of a nearly forgotten Natasha Henstridge movie? Let us know in the comments down below. Please be sure to like and subscribe to The Graveyard Shift, and as always, check back next time to find out what else will make it from scream to screen.